YouTube, graffiti caster number 3. So number 1 is that Strat. Number 2 is the Les Paul shaped guitar that I had last week. Number 3 is this. Number 4, it's a secret, nobody's seen that yet. I might bring it out for a video later on though, and just have it hanging on the wall. It's a Flying V. Number 5 is another Strat. Number 6, I think, is a Telecaster. I kind of want the Telecaster, to be honest. It's a painting of Alice Cooper, like a portrait shot of Alice Cooper on the back, and his eyeballs are like pink 3D. They're like sort of marbles or something recessed into it. And the front was just kind of painted red, didn't look that good. But now, apparently, it's been... Well, I saw Jen start graffitiing it, so it's going to be like this on the front, and then round the edges, but it'll have a actually really good-looking portrait of Alice Cooper on it as well, and it's a telly. So that should be fun. But look at this thing. The colour changes every time I see it. It's just everything. it's all the colours. And also, it's the wee red bass, which I've been playing... And I've played it at least a couple of times in every week during my own videos, just because it's been sitting there and I really like the wee red bass. So it's not wee and red anymore, although you can still see a wee bit there. There's a bit of the original red left there. It's not been painted just because of the angle it's at. Just where you can see that it used to be. But yeah, so this is an Encore made in India bass. It's 30-inch scale, so same as like a Mustang or an EBO. But it's a small P-bass body. The big thing about this is the neck profile here is the same as a proper P-bass, so it's got the proper width there. It's just a bit shorter, so quite often with these B-basses it's got like a thinner fingerboard and stuff. The strings are closer together. This is full on the correct spacing. Got a P-bass pickup in it. This one is a Washburn, from a Washburn B2, I think, from the late 80s. When they started, I think it was a Korean, one of the early Korean Washburns where I talked about this in the last video, but from the yen exchange rates changed. So when the Washburn started doing stuff in Korea in 1986 for the cheaper ones, 1987, they were making, the guitars themselves were cheaper, but they came with like Gotoh branded tuners, Gotoh pickups, and a fancy looking brass bridge, but the actual guitar was cheaper, but the hardware on it was really expensive. So basically the one I bought had a knackered neck. I think I gave it to Buster, or I think you might give me a $5 for it or something, a packet of fags or something for it. But I've still got the Grovers, which may be going on this. This is the pickup from it, and the bridge is not. This is not the original bridge. It was a 2 saddle thing, but I just had a crappy one sitting in my parts box. But thinking about, it'd be quite cool if I had a black bridge. I do have a black bridge through there, and there's also a little bit of me worrying about. It's a Dean ML bass body I've got that's got like almost like a P90 shaped pickup with like 8 exposed pole pieces on it. It looks pretty cool. It's like a sort of P90 shaped Music Man pickup is what it looks like. And it's like with the black bridge. It's like, could I put that there, and then have 2 outputs? And it's like, well, this is the problem is this is what I call. I wanted this. This is cheap, so I paid a tenner for this. I couldn't believe how good it was. All I did was put strings on it, and eventually I replaced that pickup and the bridge just because it had bits lying about. Basically, no money has been spent on this, so it's still sitting at a tenner. Whereas if I start putting expensive stuff in it, and also the simplicity of a P-bass, the idea of having a neck pickup though, as well, I would have had that, and I would have another volume and another tone and another output, and that means when I'm doing my party bass thing using the wee orange amp that clips onto my waist, which I used that for the entire live stream Sunday night. That I could have 2 of them, 1 in each pocket. If I've got 2, so I can have like a double wired bass, so I could be like pure. Oh, here we go. But I kind of don't want to do that. I like it the way it is. I even took this into the studio with the blues band. I'm not going to put any videos out of that. Like the guy he didn't say no, but I was like, I'd maybe put a video about what I was playing, and he was kind of like, right. I think there's internal politics when you've got a band with like 13 people in it, so you don't really. Some people might not like it. They're not really in the shot. All that stuff, which I totally understand. So I didn't push him. But there'd be none of that. But I did take it into the studio with the band, and it did the job. But even I had it in the studio before I painted it last week, the week before, with after the end of Black Sabbath band, and I had it tuned to C sharp because I had to get the bus in because the car was broken. So I was like thinking, this fits in a guitar bag, which is that much shorter than a bass bag, therefore easier. So I took it and had it tuned to C sharp, and it totally handled it unbelievably. It was incredibly floppy and bendy, but it did the job. But I mean, even just, it seems to love that amp as well. It doesn't sound as good as that in the through the big Ampeg in the studio, but through that amp it just seems to love it. These amps are a bit funny though, the Marshall. I've got the big one, the 400 watt one as well. It's a slightly different sound structure. I mean, it sounds fantastic, but it sounds a bit more like a Marshall guitar amp than a, just bass. It colours it somewhere. And that's like the tone controller seems to be fantastic as well. So up full, it's just slightly too boinky. It's probably just overloading the mic. And then if you put it the other way, it's too bassy. So it's great. It does both too bassy and too trebly. What else do you want, really? So I'm going to do a video of doing both of these. This is actually going to download with me. I'm going to be playing it in the campsite, the disabled campsite. So having a bit of a jam. But here's my rig, which I was playing in the live stream, but you actually get to hear it properly because the sound's never that good in the live stream. So I'm just using a patch cable. I've kind of got the length right. Just goes in there. This sits in my pocket or in my belt buckle. Like that, and then put it on. It's only got overdrive really. What else would you want? Tones up a wee bit high. Half and half. Oh, the battery's going now. Good. Which for me is exactly the perfect sound for having a bit of an acoustic-y jam type thing and trying to double up someone who's playing a guitar or a bass and taking up as much room as possible. That fuzzy, all-encompassing sound, even though it's not very loud obviously, but it's loud enough to be annoying. It's not, you are able to sing louder than it if you really belt it out, but for normal situations it's totally great. I even played this. I tried that live stream on the wee loch in Perth. I played did not play a third of the first Black Sabbath album on it, just standing like that in the piss and rain, playing this with this wee amp, and it does the job. I'm gonna have to get another one. If anyone ever sees another one of these, I've seen them with a Made in India sticker on them. They seem to be differentiated from other Encores because it is actually an Encore. But Jen has started painting the headstocks of some of the guitars, and they look fucking brilliant, doing the same sort of thing, complimentary. So I think, although I love it, the fact it's an Encore, it's like it'll be good for download because no one will pinch it because they go, it's an Encore. But I kind of maybe having the headstock done, and then I would probably have to upgrade the tuners. I've got those Grover ones. There's nothing wrong with the tuners. There's nothing really wrong with the pickup. There's really nothing wrong with the bridge. Some upgrading bits that don't really need upgrading, but it's whether to do it or not. it kind of works for that. That's what I was playing in the blues band, that kind of thing. But I've now learned I should try to stop over bending. I kept going, which sounds kind of alright on its own, but when you put it when there's other things playing, it's like pure. I'm just going. Aah! So less vibrato, maybe like that kind of thing. Just that more of a wibble than a. I do a lot of bending, especially in this playing the Sabbath stuff, but that's different because it's the bassist kit is just the bass and the guitar, so there's a guitar solo normally when I'm doing the bendy stuff, which kind of I'm not clashing with anything else. Whereas when you're playing, there's 4 or 5 of you all playing that note, and I'm going, it don't work. So I managed to get 4 videos out of this, but yes, but I mean, so this one will never be for sale. That I don't know. I'm not as attached to that. But the thing is, I already loved this bass, and the paint jobs made me love it even more. And actually, see, for some reason, watching the video, I love it even more than it is when it's hanging on the wall. This is in broad daylight. It's so bright. It's great. And I'm kind of at that stage of not wanting to touch it in case I start making it less than it was. I mean, it was a big difference putting that pickup in, though, I have to say. I've never really been. I'm not one for. Oh, you need to have the Seymour Duncan pickups, but basically all the basses I've got kind of are all from the sort of same era from Japan. They've all got the same pickup in them, so I don't really notice. And the difference between the DiMarzio copy from Goto in the 80s and an actual DiMarzio is like I can't tell the difference. It's the same with the power, the pickups in that. I've got DiMarzio Super Distortions. They are not DiMarzio Super Distortions, but they're like I can't tell the difference. So what's the point? Whereas this one, I didn't realise this pickup was the same pickup that's in the Vulture and the Rape Scavenger and the Hondo and all that. It's just it doesn't have the hex pole pieces because it's 87. They put like an EMG type cover on it, but it's the same pickup. Because I had this in my Aria Thor sound bass because the pickup for that was missing, so I put this in it just as a stopgap. Sounded fucking great, and then I got a proper pickup, put it in it, sounded the same as this. I was like, no difference there. And then when I put this pickup in, the pickup that was in this was alright, just like the Encore P bass one. When I put this one in, whoa, did it get better? It started just sounded the same as the Japanese ones. So it's like a good pickup is good. I don't think it needs to be a really super expensive pickup, like a Warman one or something would probably do the job just great. I need to learn that Metallica one, the one with the Aria Pro bass. Do 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 do. Just because I've got the fuzz bass. But yeah, the more I look at it, the more I want to get the front of the headstock done. So, see you next video. Like and subscribe. Catch you later.